What's the association?
Australian Psychics Association.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You've obviously done a lot of it. Tell that. No, that's it. But yeah, what the hell? You've got to wing it.
I'm winging this
Yes,
one,
wing
that's
this
for sure.
one, yeah. So we'll talk about cooking. I love cooking, as you can tell. I've lost 30 kilos.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's
I'm going to lose another 30.
Yeah?
Anyway, that's not very psychic.
You know that you're going to lose 30 kilos.
That's right. I knew I was going to do it one day.
So yes, we were talking about how you were talking to clients of yours who were, you know...
Well, when over the years, what I've done, because there's so many people I see all over the world, and so what I've done is I've got people who come back a second time to write down a testimonial. And I have folders from here to Jerusalem. I only thought of Jerusalem because I'm watching the news. But with all these testimonials. And one about death that springs to mind was a gentleman came who was originally Australian, was working in Austria, in Vienna, and he'd come back for a holiday to visit his family, his mother, I think, and he was just about to go back the next day to work. He worked in Vienna. And I said to him, when you get back to Vienna, without any prompting from him about his job, he just said, how's my job? When you get back to Vienna, you are going to be, someone's going to die, and you're going to be taking their job. So you asked about death, so this is what I predicted. Mm-hmm. And I gave him some other detail, but and promptly forgot about it. Anyway, he thought, he wrote in his testimonial, with the best possible will in the world, I could not figure out how that could happen. But when he got back, he came back and wrote a testimonial. When he got back to Vienna, his boss asked him into his office and said, well, so-and-so has taken ill, and they've taken time off, and would you like to do their job while they're getting better? And he said, sure. Yep. Probably you've forgotten what I predicted.
So he didn't call them and say,
no,
say goodbye to everyone.
That's
yeah.
Right, no. Well, they had cancer, so they died of cancer. And so he did end up inheriting the job. Mm. So, and there was no way that, so that's related to prediction and death. With mediumship, it's a different thing altogether. You've got to... I studied for 5 years in the Spiritualist Church as a garden variety medium, learning the ropes in a development group. Eventually I left, went solo, and did my own thing. Luckily for me, because anyway. So I developed that. Now, to give you an idea of how mediumship works, of course, you can't really guarantee the results, because a lot of it is not just the medium tuning into the spirit. It's also about the spirit, participating and giving enough information over with strong enough energy for you to pick it up.
Because I was wondering that if you can, if I say I want to speak to...
No, it doesn't work like that.
So
it's not like placing a trunk call.
Okay.
Because I learned that the hard way as well, because some people have relatives who don't want to speak to them, dead relatives who don't want to speak to them, because they didn't get along in life, but they want to know where their money was hidden, And so this doesn't always work.
You've had clients like that?
I've had clients like that once or twice, but not very often. Mm-hmm. Most people, it's the other way. Well, one example, I did a reading in Dunedin. I was in a show called Jesus Christ Superstar, which I don't know if you remember it. Mm-hmm. And I toured New Zealand, Australia, doing it. And the last leg in New Zealand was in Dunedin. And a gentleman turned up who was the head of a spiritualist church, and he found out I was a medium, and so he invited me to his house, and he'd invited a whole lot of friends, including a Methodist minister. He was, I think, credit manager at a local department store anyway. His mother had died recently, and he lived in the house with his mother, and they had a country house as well, and, where they would go for weekends. Anyway, he asked me if I would do some mediumship and try to get his mother through. So,
what do you mean by get her through?
well, let her speak through me, because
right.
I do trance mediumship, with mainly light trance. Trance means that I will attempt to allow the person to use their own words, not rather than the mental mediumship is where you get the rough idea of what they're saying and do a translation or put it in your own words, which a lot of mediums do.